Hello everyone, it's Mr. T-Ball. We're back. Part 2 of Career Mode for Planet Zoo. So today, we're going to go and redo the Ape-prenticeship. It's like tutorial based. So we're going to jump into that one. It's a Madagascar Simian Conservation Project. The Madagascar Simian Conservation Zoo is the culmination of Bernard Goodwin's work in the region, specialising in simian breed and release programs, as well as championing and highlighting the diverse species of apes and monkeys. Never one to be complacent, Bernard now wants to see what you can do in its most promising of locations. Let's go. Let's go Madagascar. Look at this is beautiful.
Welcome to Madagascar. It's quite the change of scenery from dreary old England, huh? Apart from the weather, I suppose. They don't call these places rainforests for nothing. The zoo you'll be working in is an ape sanctuary, where we're doing vitally important conservation work. Not just for apes, but for all kinds of species. But apes, well, apes are some of the closest relatives to humans there are. And yet, the way the world treats them is like, well, very much like some of us treat our actual relatives. Anyway, that's why I'm determined that our operation here does some good. If we can all leave some part of the world in a better state than we found it, we'll have lived lives worth living.
Yes,
and speaking of states, I have a horrible feeling I left the house in the right one. When I get back, I expect my life won't be worth living at all.
Bernie.
What do you think of Madagascar then? Bit warm for my taste, to be honest. Anyway, this is Bernie's primate sanctuary. It's not just primates though. We've got all sorts of animals. So why don't we go and have a look at some of them, eh? We'll start by taking a look at the red ruffed lemurs. They're the ones that look like they should be in a Shakespeare play. Come on, let's head over to them.
Let's go. Let's go check out these lemurs. As soon as the camera lets me control it, there we go. Right. Whoops.
Red ruffed lemurs are found in the rainforests of Massaoala. That's in northeast Madagascar. They can actually live anywhere from 15 up to 25 years. Fancy that, eh? Okay, when you're ready, let's go find our Bornean orangutans.
He's cute. Right, let's do what she says. Go find the orangutans. Zoom out a little. Here they are. This exhibit's really cool. I like this. With the little lake and a boat and the straw huts and stuff. I think that looks really cool.
The Bornean orangutan is such a marvellous creature. They're always a big favourite at any zoo they feature in, and they're also the biggest tree-dwelling animal on the planet.
He's a big boy.
Assuming you don't count any lions that got stuck up one. Oh, why don't you take a better look at them? Open up their information panel and go into the animal camera.
There we go, look at that. Awesome.
Aren't they just incredible?
Whoa. Big boy.
When you're ready, let's go and have a look-see at some of our beautiful bonobos. They're quite the characters.
Bonobos, let's go. Here they are.
Oh dear! It looks like we've arrived just in time. One of the habitat's barriers has collapsed.
Oh no.
And wouldn't you know it, one of the bonobos has made a run for it. We'll need to catch them. But before we do, we should box up the other bonobos to stop them escaping too.
Good call.
Select the habitat boundary to bring up the habitat information panel. Good. Now open the animals tab.
Animals.
And click on Box All Animals to box up the remaining bonobos.
Ooh, close one.
Now, we'll need a vet to recapture that escaped bonobo, but it seems our last one left to do some research in the wild. Not an ideal situation. So, we'll need to hire a replacement, sharpish. Go into the zoo section and then into the staff management area.
Did it. There's the vet.
Great. Now let's deal with our escapee before they can cause too much havoc. Use the animal alerts to jump to the escaped bonobo. And then click on the Call Vet button to call the vet over to capture it.
Quick, vet, quick.
Okay, that's the relief. So while the vet deals with our bonobo friend, let's go fix up their habitat so they can't escape again. Head back over there.
Chilling, yeah, but... Oh, I thought he was going to attack them then. Right, let's go back and fix this fence.
As you can see, the barrier's collapsed. Someone's taken their eye off the ball, obviously. Let's get this one replaced. Select the barrier and then we'll edit it. Delete the broken section of barrier and replace it with a brand spanking new one.
Not the path, you dummy. That's still a path. God damn it. Right, let's actually click the right piece now. There you go. Get rid and replace.
Good. Now that we've done that, we need to make sure to add climb-proof barriers to the top. That way the bonobos won't be able to climb out. Just make sure you've got the correct piece of barrier selected when you do that.
There we go. Looks good to me.
Nicely done. And I think it's high time we unboxed those bonobos, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
The poor mites will get sad if we leave them in there for too long. Select the habitat barrier to bring up the habitat information panel again. So, it turns out that as well as the old vet leaving, the zoo's mechanics did too. We'll need to hire a couple of new ones so we can help stop any more breakouts.
Good
You
thinking.
see, mechanics do all sorts of helpful things around the zoo, but one of their most important jobs is taking care of the habitat barriers. Without mechanics around to repair them, the barriers will crack, crumble and fall down. And before you know it, we'll be overrun with escaped animals. Go into the zoo section and then into the staff management area again. Oh, gosh, we have been busy, haven't we? Good work there. I'm off for a cuppa. Oh, I think Bernie wants a word with you.
Okay, Bernie, what you want?
Oh, I hear you had a bit of an issue with an escaped bonobo.
Yes, I
The
did.
main thing is that you dealt with it swiftly. And more importantly, without the animals stealing someone's clothes, putting them on, and then walking out of the front gate.
That could have been an issue.
You see, another key responsibility for our vets is animal research. Researching animals allows vets to unlock new enrichment items, additional information for our education resources, enhanced breeding programs, and improvements to food quality. Oh, the animals' food, not the vets. It'll take more than a research grant to improve the staff canteen. Anyway, as you can see,
That's pretty
research
cool.
is a key part of running your zoo. In order for a vet to undertake research, they require a research centre. And once again, that's something that this zoo is missing. So let's build one. I've marked out an area for you to put it.
Lovely.
Now, you've probably noticed that there's already a building where I want you to build the research centre. Don't worry. You see, the building that's currently there is actually a hollow shell. So we're able to place our new building inside of it.
Convenient.
If you select the research centre for placement and then hover over the shell, you'll see that it asks if you want to add the research centre to the existing building. Okay, click to add it to the building. Oh, but that won't place it in just yet, though. First, we'll need to rotate our research centre so it automatically connects to the path when we place it. Right. Splendid work. Now that we have a brand spanking new research centre, we can give our vets something to do in there. Oh, by the way, it's worth noting that the vets will only do research when they're not required to do any other jobs.
I kind of want to
That
put a
said,
wall
you
on it,
can
but
change what jobs a vet does via their information panel. But let's not worry about
doesn't
that
let
just
me.
now. So, let's get our vet researching
well.
ring-tailed lemurs. go into the zoo section and select Vet Research. Here, you can see a list of all the animals present in your zoo, and also all the potential diseases that can occur.
That's
Now,
the diseases,
drag and drop your vet onto the ring-tailed lemur to start their research.
I'm on it, Nancy. I'm doing it.
Actually, thinking about it, I'm not sure we've got any education boards or speakers by the lemur's habitat. Let's head over there and add some, so our guests can learn all about the furry little delights. First off, let's pop down 2 education boards. Place them on the habitat barriers at a height that guests can see, or, if you like, pop them down on a stand.
Align to surface. It's a very useful tool. Also, can kind of get in the way sometimes.
Okay, now that they've been put into position, we have to tell them what animal to display information about. Select one of the education boards to bring up its information panel.
There you go.
And from the drop-down list, select ring-tailed lemur. Although I'm sure that last part was obvious.
Just a little, Nancy.
When you link an
Just a
education
little.
board or a speaker to an animal, you need to make sure that said animal is close by. If it isn't, the guests will get confused and won't learn as much.
Right, place the speaker.
Okay, now that we've done the education boards, let's pop down a pair of speakers. Speakers play audio to the guests, so they can learn while they look at the animals, instead of having to go through the laborious process of reading. Oh, one thing to bear in mind is that it's important not to put the speakers too close together. If you do, the guests won't be able to understand what's being said.
There we go, done.
Now we simply need to link the speakers to the ring-tailed lemurs, just like you did with the education boards. Fantastic! Oh, it's worth remembering that education boards and speakers both need power to work.
Right, so we had a Discord call right in the middle of recording. I apologise. So, collect research. That's what we're going to do.
Go on, collect your research rewards. Just so you know, vets will continue to research an animal even after successfully completing a research level.
That's cool.
I suppose when you're in the zone, you're in the zone. Well, now that we've enriched the lives of our guests, let's enrich the lives of our ring-tailed lemurs. Some animals, like lemurs, will have a climbing need. That means they have a requirement for a certain amount of climbing space, and you can fulfill that requirement by building them a climbing frame. Let's find out how much more climbing space our lemur friends need, shall we? Select one of them and bring up their information panel. Next, click on the Terrain tab.
Very useful.
Now, as you can see, the lemurs need quite a lot more climbing space. But as it happens, I've already got a climbing frame blueprint built for you. So you can either pop that down or build one yourself from scratch.
And I will use
By the way,
blueprint.
it's not always just climbing needs that you have to worry about. Other animals might need a certain amount of water in their habitat so they can go for a swim. They certainly do keep us on our toes.
I mean, for career mode, blueprints are fine. When I do my sandbox builds, I like to build everything myself. That looks cool there, I like that. Well, I already put it down, so what's the problem? Maybe I covered it up too much.
Oh,
There
that's a
you go.
great climbing frame for them. They're going to absolutely love it. Do you know what
Post-floating.
would make them even happier, though? Nicer food. But that's true of all of us, though, isn't it? You can unlock better quality food for animals through research. Luckily, we've already unlocked some for the lemurs, so all that remains is to make sure they get served it from now on. Let's bring up the habitat information panel by selecting the lemur habitat.
Okay, there we go. No, this is Mario. Ah, this front one, there we
Lovely. Now select the Animals tab. There we go. As you can see,
There
we
we
can set the
go.
food quality in here. Just click on the drop-down menu and select Grade 2 Food Quality.
go. Nice.
Grade 2 Food Quality. My mouth's already watering.
Because Nancy eats lemur food.
So, a new climbing frame and better food. Oh, you've really spoilt those lemurs rotten. Now, I think it's time we looked at one of the zoo's most important responsibilities. Releasing animals into the wild. You see, when we feel an animal is ready, we can release them into the wild. But what makes an animal a good candidate for release? Well, their age is an important factor. I mean, we can't release an animal that's a juvenile, just as we can't release one that's gotten too old. They'll also need to be fertile. After all, the idea is to repopulate the wild, so the best candidates will have a high fertility gene. And together, the age and fertility of a candidate will determine how many conservation credits we'll be rewarded when we release them. Now, conservation credits are vitally important. They're the lifeblood of your zoo, because earning them allows you to adopt even more animals. And what's more, the animals you can adopt will be of a higher quality.
Awesome.
So, with that in mind,
Excuse me.
let's pop over to our orangutan habitat.
We're already there, Nancy.
Okay, I'd like you to find Agang, the Bornean orangutan in the habitat, and select him, please.
Agang.
You can either click through each orangutan in turn, or select the habitat
That's
barrier,
Mara.
go to the
That's
Animals tab
Agang.
in the Habitat
There he
Information
is.
panel, and find him in the Animals list.
Goodbye, Agong.
I know it's sad to see him go, but he'll be happy out in the wild. And he's a wonderful candidate for release. Young, strong, and fertile. Excellent work there. You've definitely got potential, you know.
I know.
Ah, I see you've been doing some homework. Although,
He's
it
a big
hardly
boy.
seems like work when you're learning about something as adorable as a ring-tailed lemur. I imagine I'd have got much better grades at school if there'd been less algebra and more aldebra. Tortoises.
Bernie's amazing jokes, yet again.
Okay, so far we've done a lot of work with habitat animals, but now it's time to learn all about exhibit animals. Let's build a brand new exhibit. I've marked an area for our new exhibit. How about we head over there? Perfect. The next thing to do is adopt an exhibit animal to go in there. How about a Gila monster? Open up the
Gila
exhibit
monster.
trading section and adopt one.
Awesome.
When you send an animal to an exhibit, it'll automatically be given the correct setup. But that doesn't mean it's completely ready for them. So let's finish it off. We'll start by adding some enrichment items. Click on the exhibit to bring up its information panel.
Nice rock.
As I'm
Ooh.
sure you know by now, you can unlock more enrichment levels by having one of your vets do some research. Now we'll also need to set the temperature and humidity in the exhibit. These are vitally important for keeping our Gila monster happy and comfortable. Click on the Climate tab.
You want it a little warmer?
Here you can see the Gila monster's desired temperature and humidity. You can change both of these by
And less
adjusting the
humid.
dials below. Make sure it's going to be nice and cozy.
A bit lower than that.
That's the ticket. And the last thing we need to look at is setting up the different windows. So click on the Windows tab. You can edit and customize any of the windows on an exhibit.
That's pretty
A
cool.
window can be closed and blank, or have a two-dimensional background, or even a three-dimensional background on it. Why don't you have a play around with the options?
We'll just leave it like it is, because
There's
otherwise
also
they
an
won't be able to see
exhibit
it.
education board. Pop them down near your exhibits to teach your guests about them. Let's add one now.
So where are these at? Oh, in this. Silly me.
Lovely stuff. Now our guests can learn all about our venomous friend here. Right, now, I've got a bit of a big job for you. I need you to increase the number of species in the zoo. You'll probably want to adopt both habitat and exhibit animals to do so, which will mean building plenty of new habitats and exhibits for them. Go on, off you pop.
Off I pop.
I'll check in with you when you're almost done.
Right. This is what I'm going to do first. I've lost it. Where are you? I'm sure there was another empty habitat. Ah, there it is. So we'll adopt something to go in here. We have the cockroach. Snail. Let's pop them in. I thought I bought two. There we go, let's make this nice for them. Climate, just a little less humid. Awesome. Education board. I always forget where these are. Yeah, there we go. Oh, whoops. So many people I can't see. A giant tiger land snail. Okay. So let's find some space to build a habitat. Aha. Look at this. Perfect. Just made for me. Right, it's a little lumpy and bumpy, so we're going to flatten to foundation. Why is it rock? So I'll just have grass for now. And increase the size. Nice flat area for me to build on. Perfect. Do we have a taper already? Let me see. Nope. So tapers are nice and easy. We will go for some of them. Animal trading. You are 13 years old. That's a bit old. They're all quite old. So we're going to go for you. And you. No barriers. And we'll go wooden. Just simple basic little square. Should be big enough, right? I never go too detailed on this career mode. Maybe when I start a fresh suit, I may go a little more detailed. So we'll put that there. That rain is heavy. It is a rainforest, so it looks kind of cool though, right? Okay. So we'll have the front panels in glass. And then paths which is a wooden. Lovely staff, which is this color. You can be joined on to here. Perfect. And we will need a keeper hut. Let's go with one that fits the theme. Does that one? I think it does. No, yeah, that's fine. Could I not get it on there? Does it have power down here? Let me see. No, so I'll need a transformer as well. Just trying to work out which way's the front. There we go. Perfect. Now we'll send the animals over. Come on, Taper. Move to there, move to there. What's this problem? Animal cannot be released, that's fine. I know they need a hard shelter. So I'm going to use this cheaty method and use a pre-built. Kind of big. That doesn't really fit the theme though, does it? Wow. Okay, we'll go with that. Put some bedding in there. Okay, now let's make this acceptable. Do I need water? Oh, maybe because I've got no water in there. And I need more space. I'm sorry, Tapers. Let's pause the game real quick. And extending. Being a bit stingy on the space. Sorry. Okay, there you go. How'd you feel about that? Much happier. Right. Way too much long grass. So we'll change the size of that. Put some dirt in, some soil. Pretty much everywhere. And now they're kind of happy. Let's get the food thingies, food bowl and water. See, this filter option's really good because you can go species and pick your animal and it comes up with only the things that are suitable for them. Which is kind of useful. So I'll have this connected to the shelter. Why, I don't know. And a little food trough. Any enrichment items? No. Yes. Why can't I fit this in? Aha! I can! Plenty of enrichment for these guys. Keep them nice and happy. Or not. Okay, that's fine, that's all you're having. And now you need some foliage. Am I actually playing? No, there we go. Foliage! Tropical temperate grassland. Tropical temperate grassland from South Central America. Now they can have any of these. I like these palms, these are nice. A few little like coconut palms. They're happy with that, but we can have a bit more, so let's have a bit more. Move that out of the way. I want a couple of bushes. Or these things, yeah, these are cool. Why? I have that snapping thing on, that was a bit silly. Yes, perfect. Let's break up some of this green area. Where's that big one? Like that, that looks good. Whoa, Wimber tree is huge. Okay, they're happy. Clear my filters. Good stuff. Right. So objectives. I need one more species. So we're going to do it the nice, easy way. Quite like that little triangle, that was kind of cool. The pathing system is just, I mean, you can get it to do what you want, but it just likes to play around with you. I mean, it's so weird, but who cares, we're going for it. Just need something out of here I haven't got. I have a healer monster, yes. There's loads of them. Frog, I haven't got a frog. So I'll take you and you.
My, you have been busy, haven't you?
I have.
Splendid! But now that you've adopted all these lovely new species, we need to make sure they're nice and happy. So let's get the average welfare across the zoo nice and high, shall we? And by we, I mean you. Go on, get to it!
I'm on it, don't you worry. So we'll research something for the healer monster. Right, there we go, frog. I have no enrichment for you. A little colder. So maybe I should research something for the frog instead. That would make sense. Right, there we go. So let's make all these other animals happy. Look at the list. Who's not perfectly happy? Winnie, so the bonobos. Let's go to there. And it's enrichment. That's an easy fix. Habitat. filter species and bonobo. There we go. Right, let's put some of this stuff down for him. %. You can have a keyboard to jam on. Yeah, 71%. Tool puzzle feeder. A filter? What's a filter? Okay, so you're pretty happy now. We could improve it a little bit more if we need to, but same with the what are they? Red lemurs? I forget the exact name. Ruffed lemur. There we go. So you need enrichment too. Your stuff's probably going to be similar, but we'll make sure. You can have this giant ball. Keyboard. A roller. Let's see. Might want to roll on it. I don't know. Oh, the welfare was a bit funny then. That's fine. Right, reset filters. Who else needs some attention? You're boxed. Why are you boxed? Maybe these could do with a little bit more. I'm not sure. Yes, so that's cool. Habitat. Ring-tailed lemur. Beautiful. You can have a block of frozen ice to
Lovely
jump on.
job
And there we
there.
go, we did it.
You should be proud of yourself. Not only have you expanded the zoo and kept the animals as happy as Larry, but you didn't bankrupt us in the process. Amazing.
So, that's
Wow!
complete.
Well, you've certainly transformed the zoo. I barely recognize it. A wonderful new exhibit, some fascinating new species, and you've done wonders for the animals' welfare by enriching their habitats. Who doesn't love playing with a 3-foot wide soccer ball, huh? I mean, other than professional soccer players. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't easy, though. I expect money was tighter than a possum's pouch. Plowing all those funds back into the welfare of the animals doesn't make running these places a picnic. Although, it does make me feel a little less guilty about how much our gift shops charge. No, as far as I'm concerned, the only reason to run a zoo is to help animal kind. Sadly, it appears some other people have far less noble goals.
So guys, that's the end of this scenario and the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.